Hi, welcome back to Conversations on a Bench. I'm Kim Cook. I'm a little punchy right now. I've been sitting on this bench since noon yesterday, and we've just been having great conversations about homeless issues. And if you've tuned in, thank you so much. I just want to thank some people right now that have just provided us wonderful food. We just had breakfast from Mirabelle by Orphe, and it was provided, I think, by Tia, our good friend here. So thank you so much, Tia. You have taken such good care of us. I so appreciate you. So we are here now with Derek. How do you say your last name?
Sciba.
Okay, I was going to say it wrong, so I'm glad I asked. So Derek Sciba, who is the CEO of Vision House, and I don't know, now probably about 3 hours ago, I had Melissa here, and we talked to her for a little while. She kind of gave us more of the backstory on Vision House, but she retired when, like,
A year and a half ago.
A year
So
and a
I've been
half.
in my role for a year and a half.
Okay. So I've been here for just over 2 years. So really, we kind of started pretty close to one another. So tell us about Vision House for those who didn't hear.
Vision House is an organization focused on families. If kids are involved, we want to help. So family homelessness is the kind of homelessness that you often don't see here on the streets. Although it is becoming increasingly common, we find, for families to be sleeping outside in tents. But family homelessness is often in cars, couch surfing, that sort of thing. But for 35 years, Vision House has served Washington State, primarily King and Snohomish counties, and equipping families to gain stability and see this next chapter in their lives.
That's great. And you've got 2 or 3, 4 facilities, right?
That's right. So Vision House, you're right in the middle of the city. I love Pioneer Square, love downtown Seattle. We're on the outskirts. So we're up in Shoreline and in Renton, and we have several locations in each area. We also have a facility in Burien as well. This is a place where families can come and either receive some short-term, more emergency help, resources for cold weather, but also, most importantly, case management. So trying to solve those underlying problems that might have caused the period of homelessness in the first place. But for years and years, Vision House has had as its core program transitional housing, but it's not just housing.
Right.
Housing is not enough. It's the program behind it that will actually do the things with people, in partnership with people, to help solve those problems. So I believe that homelessness is very fundamentally a housing problem, but that's not telling the whole story.
Right.
Homelessness is a problem of societal opportunities, personal brokenness, societal pressures, especially among certain groups. It's a story that is often peppered with abuse and addictions and mental illness. But it's also a story for many people of just bad luck. This happened, then this happened, then this happened. Might have had a health issue, and then you're out of luck. And you find yourself in a circumstance that you've never dreamed you would ever be in.
Right. That is so true. I hear that often. I don't think it's the main thing, but it certainly happens a lot. I just had a guy on the bench a little while ago who was here at Bread of Life 29 years ago.
Wow.
And he came into Seattle, put his stuff in a locker at the bus station, went looking around, came back, and everything was gone.
Oh my gosh.
Everything. He had, like, I don't know, 7 cents on him or something.
Oh.
And he ended up at our mission, and he
Wow.
actually thinks it was a blessing. But it was just bad luck, right?
Yes.
Although I think God's hand is in that somewhere.
That's right.
Because it changed his life.
Yeah, I think that this happens in life to where we could really only see it in retrospect, like looking back.
Yeah.
But it's those moments of those inflection points in life to where we could go this way or we could go this way. So I'm thankful for that man's sake that Bread of Life was there for
There
him
for him.
to be
Yeah.
able to guide him on a different path.
Yeah. I was talking to Melissa about the fact that really, like, a lot of what I talk about homelessness is from my viewpoint of the men and women in Pioneer Square, and also what I did in upstate New York. But it is different for family homelessness. I think there's a lot more of that bad luck because, when you have one bad thing happen to you, and then another and another, it's one thing. But when it happens to you and a family, and you've got to support that family, it's just it adds on to itself, right?
The cost of
Multiplies.
living here, it is especially felt.
Oh my goodness.
Just so acutely felt by families. So averages, the HUD estimate for a 2-bedroom apartment in this region is around $2,600. So that is remarkably similar to the take-home pay for somebody working at a medium-sized company. If you're making minimum wage, a full-time job. So if 100% of your income is going to rent, how do you possibly live?
It's like rent or eat, right?
Rent or, And so people get into these impossible circumstances to where you either have substandard housing, you're making sacrifices. We're finding more and more families are coming to Vision House hungry. And moms are admitting to us, I haven't eaten in a while because I wanted to make sure I had enough for my kids. So family homelessness, there are those problems that we commonly associate with homelessness around addiction, around mental illness, and that sort of thing. It does happen. Family homelessness is compounded by the cost of raising a family, the complexities of raising a family. What am I going to do with my kids when I go to work if I don't have everything lined up? How am I going to pay for both food, but any of the activities, all the sorts of things that almost any family faces, these challenges of just living in our very expensive world, especially here in the Seattle metro area.
Yeah. Yeah, I was shocked when I came out here. I knew rent was high. But, we moved from upstate New York, sold a 4-bedroom house, and couldn't afford to buy here.
Wow.
Like, a little 1-bedroom.
Right.
It's just so, like, in different parts of the country, everybody thinks that their housing market is high.
Yes.
But it's all relative.
That's
to
right.
where you are.
When you have the average cost of houses around $1 million in this metro area, how are you possibly doing that unless you're working at one of our amazing, well-paid firms that, there's, lots of money out there, but not everybody has that.
Yeah.
There's so many other people who are not making enough money to possibly afford a home, much less to comfortably afford rent.
And I can't imagine having a family in some of the apartments around here.
Right.
Because you're talking about a 1-bedroom, right? Or whatever you were talking about.
That $2,600 figure is for a 2-bedroom.
For a 2-bedroom.
But Vision House is serving families. And so ideally, if you have a family, you have more than 1 bedroom, you have 2 or 3 bedrooms.
Right. What's the average size family that you're seeing?
I use the average of 3 people when I'm calculating how many people we're serving, but it's usually 3, 4. We've had a family of 10 at Vision House. And there's so much responsibility on the breadwinner of the family when you really need 2 breadwinners. But if you have 10 people in your family, somebody's going to be needing to watch the kids.
Yeah.
So it gets really complicated when you have a family and something happens. And sometimes that something is simply economic, but often that is the undercurrent to where you can't make a mistake. You can't mess up. You can't have an unfortunate thing. You can't have an addiction that you're fighting and keep your housing.
Yeah. And that's why I think it's so important for us to have safeguards for keeping people in housing instead of letting them fall out, and that doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help the landlord. It doesn't help the tenant. It just
This is a tough place to be a landlord. It really is.
It really is.
It is a tough place.
I have been a landlord, and I have a real heart for that because,
Yeah.
or for them, because while I feel for the people who are struggling,
Mm-hmm.
those landlords have to make a living,
Yeah.
or at least make a mortgage payment.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all the laws really are against them right now.
Yeah, and it's difficult, and yet we find at Vision House our goal is to try to find self-sufficiency.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a bunch of cuts to social programs. There's a lot of things at risk. We're seeing more families come to Vision House
Mm-hmm.
because of SNAP benefit cuts
Yeah.
coming for food. There's a lot at risk right now in our time,
Right.
but at the same time, there are good people out there that
Mm-hmm.
we are partnered with, landlords who want to work with Vision House, landlords who want to give somebody a chance.
Mm-hmm.
But when you when you might be working with a large corporate entity and there's just guidelines, it's not the same as a locally owned property to where
Yeah.
the landlord can have grace in the same way. So
Mm-hmm.
we value our partners in property management, and we could not do this work without them.
Yeah.
And we find that the vouchers to make housing possible
Mm-hmm.
are also very critical in this area. We're always trying to find absolute self-sufficiency, but we're finding for families especially, having a housing voucher of some sort is the difference between either getting housing or not getting housing
Yeah.
in the private market.
Yeah. Do you guys use Housing Connect?
We do. Housing
Yeah.
Connector's a wonderful partner of ours. We were just meeting with them yesterday.
Yeah. We've just found it to be a wonderful program, really
Yeah.
helpful
Yeah.
to our guys.
And it's grown a significant amount just within the last 5 years. And we were meeting with them about expansion into other places. So for Housing Connector. So what a great thing to find innovation in
Yeah.
this realm.
Yeah, I appreciate, especially corporations that are willing
Yes.
to enter in.
Yes.
Yeah, it's definitely. Every
there
time I
somebody
hear
doing a
a
skateboard
noise,
trick
it's
back
like,
there?
yeah, wow, you are good. Did you see it on the thing? No, you
I
didn't.
don't know.
Yeah, it was a skateboard being dropped. So I don't know what happened, but I'm definitely watching all the noise around
Yeah.
the square. So,
There we go.
well, Derek, I'm so fried. You just talk because I don't even have good questions.
Yeah.
At
Oh,
this point.
that's great.
Yeah.
One thing, so I was with one of your right-hand people, Derek, great name, yesterday at an event with Campbell Auto Group.
Yes, and we talked with
yes.
Melissa about that.
Yes. So
go ahead.
So talk about there are people in our community, especially locally owned businesses, churches, just good people who are wanting to make a difference and invest in the things that truly do help.
Yeah.
So Campbell Auto Group, this is a company in the Edmonds area.
Yeah.
So they have several locations, actually into Montana. But they have partnered with Vision House for many years. We can credit the expansion of Vision House into Shoreline based on their prodding. Why don't you come up here into the North Sound? So thankful for Kurt and Craig Campbell. But they're funding partners of ours and yours.
Yes.
And to provide those resources. So I just bought a car from Campbell a few weeks ago. So happy to support this local business.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. Like, we're not looking for a car right now, but when we do,
Right.
and I sent somebody there
Yes.
recently too.
Yeah, I was thinking, okay, I've got to check out Campbell because it's such a good company, and
definitely.
I really like my car.
Definitely. Yeah, we are so excited to be partners with them this year and next.
Yeah.
And just to see what that partnership looks like. But
Yeah.
they are so generous, and they support 5 different
Yes.
organizations
So Campbell
for 2
Auto Group,
years.
I mean, if Kurt and Craig Campbell went to every event that a nonprofit was having, they would be busy every weekend.
Oh yeah.
But these are folks who have supported probably dozens, plural dozens of nonprofits. But right now they're partnering with 5 nonprofits, including Bread of Life, and Vision House. So very thankful for that. It's
Yeah.
a 2-year partnership, and then they're rotating into supporting
Yes.
other great
Yeah.
local and national and international nonprofits.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. I just love what they do.
That's
And
right.
I love their heart.
Yes.
They're really great people.
And I think so. One of my favorite things, Christian ministry, one of my favorite things about, and challenging things about the meaning of actually living into the gospel is all of these decisions that we have to make on a daily basis about how to respond to the world around us. So one of my favorite passages of scripture is in Matthew 25, and the parable of the talents. And the sheep and the goats and all of that, like, great passage of scripture when you're thinking about what does ministry look like, what does personal responsibility look like, what does community responsibility look like. But in the parable of the talents, we see this responsibility to steward what we have well. And Bread of Life's been doing that for how many years?
I think it's 86.
86 years. Vision House, been around for a shorter period of time than that, but 35 years. So grateful for the history that I've been able to enter into there with Vision House. But with the parable of the talents, the servant who is entrusted with 1 talent, and there's others entrusted with 5 and 10, was scolded,
Right.
and beyond, because he didn't invest that talent into grow in some way, buried the talent. I see that as a great analogy for our opportunities in life. Certainly for my opportunity and your opportunity. What are we going to do with the talent that we have right here? These wonderful organizations with these incredible histories in a place and time where homelessness is truly a crisis.
It really is.
Where we become immune to seeing people because it is so common. And what a tragedy for our souls when we don't see our neighbors well, and what a tragedy to just disregard it, to say this work isn't working, it's not worth investing in. This is core to who we are as Jesus followers, as we need to be people of action, of faith, people who will be persistent in the face of daunting odds to say, God, I don't know what you're doing here. I don't know how I am going to be used, but I will be stewarding what I have now. And I think that's the challenge for any of us in ministry or in our lives. What are we doing with our talents?
Exactly. I think I was talking to Pastor Jubal about that earlier, and just even with churches giving away the things they have that they're not using.
Yes.
And that's like a buried talent for sure.
Yes, and I've been talking with a local church. They've shrunk in their average attendance, but they have not shrunk in their identity as followers of Jesus, wanting to see God's kingdom emerge here on earth as it is in heaven. And they have come to Vision House to say, what can we do?
Yeah.
What can we do with you? How could you use our facilities? How could you use us in this way to serve families experiencing homelessness in our community? So that's key. And I believe that is also part of the way that churches can become more relevant.
I agree.
When churches are all about ourselves,
Yeah.
when churches are only looking inward, and there's value in that. There's value in stewarding and caring for people within our congregations. But when we only look inward, when we're not looking outward, and really actively asking the question over and over again, God, what do you have for me now? What is my responsibility now? How can you use me today? How can you use my buildings, my resources? That's where I believe especially a younger generation can come and say, okay, this is not incongruous.
Right.
We're not just a Christian country club just caring for ourselves and go away, rest of the world, or I hate you, rest of the world, even worse. but we can be about something rather than just against things.
Yes.
And what an opportunity for Christians to identify in our world as the world changers, as the catalysts of God's love.
Yeah. And, you know, as I sit at tables with secular providers, they're all saying, where's the church?
Mm.
And, you know, it's easy to think that, well, we've been pushed away from the table, but
that's right.
they're asking, where are we?
I see.
So, and maybe we have, I don't know. But at this point in time, the church has an opportunity to step up.
I think that there are barriers to Christian organizations to fully participate in good works in the world. Barriers put up by our structures in our world.
Yeah.
However, there are opportunities today to still act as individual believers, as business owners, as churches, and still do the things and invest in the things that matter. I hope that anybody who is watching today, any legislator, anybody who is making policy decisions, will see the value in ministry impact, in nonprofit impact, as the main indicator of who receives funds and who does not receive funds. If we don't discriminate based on our service, great.
Right.
I mean, that should be absolutely. But let's look at the results. Who's getting results? Let's invest in those things, because we all want to solve problems and we want to solve it together. And so many people have come together to support both of our organizations. Let's invest in the things that get results.
Exactly. And, you know, it's really hard in what we do to measure outcomes, because, boy, it's messy human beings, right?
Yeah.
But whenever we go to D.C., they're going, well, where's the data? And, you know, one of the things that Citygate is doing is partnering with Salvation Army and Adult and Teen Challenge to come together and work on measurements. They're going to use the Harvard Flourish Index.
Yes.
And they're working on that right now, so that we have these outcomes that we can be measuring across all three organizations. Because between the three of us, I really think that we have probably the majority of work with the homeless. Some people may think it's government. I know that in DC they tend to think that, but then when we start showing the numbers of what we're doing in those kinds of organizations, hands down, it's the majority.
My background prior to Vision House, earlier in my career, I was a journalist. I was a TV reporter early in my career. But then for years, I was in international relief and development, including most recently years at World Vision. An incredible organization, serves in about 100 countries across the planet. What I saw in the partnership with government and private and church and corporate was beautiful. The impact of providing clean water, opportunities, reducing human trafficking, all sorts of things, opportunities for girls and women in ways that have not existed.
Right.
Partnerships are good. Partnerships are good when we could all say, okay, we can agree on this.
Right.
Let's invest in things that work. And I saw that with USAID. I'm grieved at what is happening. So I think that there's a place for private organizations like us to partner and to see great work happen together.
Right. We really have to get, in our whole society, I think, but you have to get away from this idea that we have to agree on everything in order to work together.
Yes.
No wonder we're not making progress. Let's find where we do agree and move forward.
Yeah,
and let the rest
drop.
fall away.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
I was like, what did I? See, I'm really tired. I didn't get that.
So, I think if people had that mindset, what could we agree on? We would be a much more functional society right now. I don't believe that we would have a government shutdown right now.
Right.
If we had that mindset. And America, I believe that the best days are ahead of us. I believe that we've had great times in the past, that we've had great times now for some, and but our best days are ahead of us when we could have a more just society. Um, we have to get into this mindset that is less common now than I would say a few years ago, to where we are willing to talk to each other.
Right.
To where we're willing to sit down and not vilify each other, but to listen to each other. And the difference between what our legislators are posting on social media, what they're saying on the news programs, and what they say to each other,
Right.
those are
Completely different.
People can make agreements. People can talk about the hard things and agree on the things that matter if we're not just actively trying to vilify each other. We have a problem here in our community. We have a huge problem here in our community. That Bread of Life is part of the solution to that.
Right.
But we have to have people at the table to say, all right, what's working?
Right.
Let's invest in those things.
Yeah, and I really do think that some government is willing to do that at this point, but it hasn't completely trickled down
That's
yet
right.
to the local level, but it's getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. What if you had one wish or maybe prayer that would just definitely going to be answered when it comes to the crisis that we're in? What would it be?
A willingness to have our hearts broken, for us to not see this as normal.
Yeah.
And that's all of us. That's
Yeah.
that's for you, for me, for everybody watching, for our families, our communities, our leaders, to not see this as inevitable.
Yeah.
To be troubled about what's happening.
Yeah.
Because I believe that if we are troubled and if we are not accepting of the status quo as okay, then we will have those conversations. We'll have those partnerships emerge.
Right.
We'll have funding emerge. We'll have scrutiny of programs
Right. Yeah.
to say, let's do the things that are actually bringing people
Right.
off the streets into successful, stable lives, out of the misery. Those are the things that I would believe could happen if we were allowing ourselves to not see our current crisis as inevitable.
Yeah.
Let's have a vulnerability. Let's allow ourselves to continually be broken about what's happening and use that to do something meaningful,
Yeah.
to reevaluate strategies, to reevaluate what we could do in partnerships so that we could see meaningful change in the future.
Yeah, that is so true. When you were saying that, I was thinking, just don't look away.
That's right.
You know, in my last mission, we had a high number of older women coming into our emergency shelter. And we talked about it some, but we found donors didn't want to hear about it.
Really?
Yeah, and I think it's that
When we look away, they were...
Yeah, well, like they're okay with thinking there's an old guy that's homeless. Like that
Yeah.
fits their paradigm. But it's too painful to think about grandma being homeless, so they don't want to think about it.
Yeah.
They don't want to think about kids being homeless, right? They'd rather... So it's easier to blame the mom who's taking advantage of the system because then they don't have to think
this
about
welfare
it.
queen
Yeah.
fallacy.
And not that stuff isn't happening.
It happens.
It
it
does.
happens, but so often it's people in some
it really
incredibly
is.
painful situations.
And so I think that we need to, like you said, be willing to have our hearts broken.
Yes.
And it starts with don't look away.
Yeah.
Like look at the person, see that person, see the pain they're in, and be willing to sense that they're like me.
That's right.
Right?
With the moment that we believe that it's them,
Yeah.
if we, even our language, you know, I don't know that I'm the most PC guy in the world,
Me
but
either.
there's something very troubling about saying the homeless.
Yeah.
When you see people in a life situation as one monolith
Right.
of bad decisions, of addiction, let's talk about people.
Right.
People in circumstances, people with if we're Christians, people created in the image of God, this
Yes.
should be seared in. You are created in God's image. So what should that mean for my relationship with you? How can I love you well? There's a book that I would recommend around this topic called When We Walk By.
Yes.
Kevin F. Adler, the author, but it talks about what happens to us when we are just seeing people either as projects or just not seeing people as people.
Right.
But to actually encounter someone in this period of homelessness and be willing to learn their story and love them.
Yeah. Well, that's, I think, a great place for us to end. I think probably if we just got together, we could solve it all. But
It's, yeah.
right.
We just need like another 30 minutes.
Yeah, right. We'd solve it all. But no, I'm so glad to now finally get to know you, and would love to get up and see what you guys are doing at Vision House and firsthand. And Melissa has just been a gift to me. We hit it off right away, and I needed a friend, so she's great.
It was much easier to enter into this role at Vision House having a great leader preceding me.
Yeah. Well, you were very fortunate.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you.
Thanks, Kim.
We are going to go to break for just a minute, and then we're going to come back and talk to one of our staff who's a very special guy. So we'll be right back.